Hey everybody, welcome to the FloTrack's Cross Country Ranking Show presented by HOKA. We are coming off of an extremely active weekend. The stage is set for Nationals this upcoming weekend, and let's just get right into it. My name is Nia Gibson. I'm joined today with Bryan Deibel, John Davern. We got to do it. Let's rock and roll. This is our final show before Nationals. We got a lot to talk about. I'm excited. Like I was saying, the stage is set. We're missing Chrissy, but we'll be on the ground, and you'll see all of us, including Ryan Fenton, in Columbia, Missouri. Bryan, talk to me. How are you?
I'm excited. I've been goofy all morning. I feel like it's just, it's that time of year. It's cross-country season. I mean, the championships are here. Going to go back to Columbia, Missouri. I was texting with Coach Kyle Livermore a few times over the past couple months, just since Gaines Creek, and just telling him how excited I am to come back and just see the course and just go back to Missouri. It's actually a really beautiful place, so I'm excited to go back. We're going to run some trails. John and I are going to get some nice trail runs while we're there, and obviously cross-country national championships, baby. Let's go.
Let's do it. We're here. John, how are we doing? How are we feeling?
Dude, Ryan hit the nail on the head there. I'm just kind of giddy, and I think it's because it's Nationals Week. I think even watching the intro of the show and just seeing, the I don't know exactly what year those were, but those clips from previous NCAA championships just gets me so excited because I know this weekend means so much to so many distance runners. You dream for the first, 12 years of your running career of finishing your career on this center stage at NCAA Division I Cross. And it's just the penultimate distance running championship in the U.S. In terms of collegiate or below. So, yeah, penultimate in the sense that, after that, the only thing greater is the Olympics, in my opinion. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I'm just giddy as it is.
Yeah, I mean, what's there not to be giddy about? Before Friday, it was up in the air who would be going to Nationals, but we now know all 32 teams that will be on the men and the women's side. And after this weekend, we'll be crowning a new 2025 national champion in cross country. So there's a lot to talk about here. So I think let's just get right into it. We had the call-outs projections this past weekend, and a lot of stuff was happening. A lot of people ran, including Pamela Kosgei, a multiple-time national champion, New Mexico standout, and the newest addition to the HOKA family, adding even more depth to their very impressive roster. I mean, I think we have to talk about her greatness as an athlete, and this has just kind of been a long time coming. I think HOKA really, really, really got a good one. What do you guys think? Bryan, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, Pamela Kosgei, runner-up last year at the national championships in cross country, obviously did phenomenal things in the track season as well. That's a big pickup for them. Just a phenomenal athlete. Seems like a super nice person as well. Great athlete to bring on board for HOKA. Obviously, our guy Johnny Pace was out there doing some photo shoots with her. Really got some awesome shots of her running out there in the beautiful Albuquerque, New Mexico area. Absolutely gorgeous out there. So, yeah, really excited to see what her and all of the Lobos are able to do, at Nationals.
What are your thoughts on it, John?
Yeah, I mean, you guys said it. I think, HOKA's really honing in on that New Mexico connection there. Obviously, Hoptum is another HOKA NIL athlete for them. So, another athlete to add to their already stacked roster. So, again, yeah, I mean, I think if we just want to transition right here, I mean, I could talk about her odds at Nationals. I think they're really good. I think anytime we go to a national championship, she's certainly in the conversation, and she'll have to contend with Jane Hedegren.
Yeah.
Hedegren. I know I said that right. I know I'm getting beef online, but I say it right. I just say it fast, as well as Doris Lundengole. So I think, she has a great chance to win the national championship. But when I say great, great for me is if you go into nationals with a 10% chance to win, you have great odds, right? For 99% of the field, they have 0.01% odds, right? So if you have 10% odds to win the national title, those are really good. And I think that's essentially what she has when you look at the stacked field that we have.
We talk about stacked fields. I think that's a perfect time to transition. We spoke about this a little bit on the Cola show, John. On Friday, New Mexico beat out BYU in their region. And the question that I asked you, and I'd love to revisit that conversation, was whether or not you think this was a precursor, or if BYU, it was a survive and advance type of ordeal.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit. I was able to dive deeper into the numbers. It does look like BYU did rest a few of their stars. And so that was one of my chief, points there was I didn't have a chance to essentially look yet. And I said I was a little bit disappointed with how they performed, finishing behind New Mexico. But once you look at it, they didn't have Mila Roberts in their lineup. They didn't have Taylor Lovell in their lineup. Those are their 3 forerunners from the Big 12 championships. Zariel Makia finished a little bit further down their lineup than she finished earlier in the season. So I think BYU is going to be in BYU shape. Who knows? They always seem to pull something out of their sleeves as well. We know how crazy their depth is. And so I think they can certainly, again, I think they're one of our favorites for sure. We've had them as one of our favorites all season. But I still have Stanford and Oregon as our main contenders for them, and the teams they're going to have to beat.
Okay. What are your thoughts, Bryan?
Yeah,
Sorry, did I say Stanford? I meant NC State.
Okay.
But Stanford's in the loop too.
I think, what John was saying, and I think it makes sense to rest. Diljit is a phenomenal coach. We all know this. So she knows what it takes to get to the podium. Obviously, they were there last year. And I think that just based on points, and I'm sure they did the calculations, we can do X in our region and be able to still move on. And taking second, obviously, it gives you an auto qualifier. So I think they were probably smart in that aspect, just kind of resting who they needed to rest. Maybe somebody, just wanted a little extra time to get ready for nationals. They obviously got to see the course earlier this year when they ran at pre-nats. And totally destroyed their run with 25 points. So I think this team will be ready, the BYU squad, come nationals, and sitting out a meet a couple of the stars, in my mind, makes sense. I know we used to do that sometimes to if we knew at conference we had an easier win, or if regionals we thought we could get in based on whatever qualifiers or how many qualifiers we had. So makes sense in my mind. I think it's a smart move to kind of get ready and make sure everybody's top of the line, peak physical fitness, and ready to perform on the day.
All right. Let's see if they have a good day to have a good day. You've been saying this all season.
Yeah.
So I also want to talk about on the men's side. No Stanford, no Missouri. Thoughts on that? Surprises, sad, tears. John, I'll start with you.
So for Stanford, I think the performance as a whole was not necessarily surprising. I think it's disappointing. They're a team that hasn't looked like we kind of expected coming into the year. Lex Young has not been running for them. We don't know why. He could be injured. It could be something else. Leo Young has really stepped up in a big way for them. And so we'll see him represent Stanford as an individual at nationals. But otherwise, I'm not too surprised to see them. I think Missouri coming into the year was more of an underdog. Again, not a team we had pegged as necessarily, a top 25 team, a top 20 team, but a team that we knew if they made it to nationals, they could make an impact on the basis that it was their home course, right? So, that's kind of where I stand on those two teams there.
Okay. Anything on your end, Bryan, or any surprises outside of that on the men's side?
Yeah, I don't have much to add to that. I guess Stanford, we have seen them historically be really, really good. Obviously, they're one of the top contenders to go into nationals each year, or at least make the meet. So it's a little surprising they didn't make the meet. But I think, you think about some of the guys like Thomas Boyden now running at BYU. They're having a rebuild year. I feel in my mind, and that happens every now and then. I think one of the, it is what it is. It happens some years. It is a bit of a surprise. I was kind of thinking the same thing when I saw Washington as low and Boise and Portland both doing so well in that West region, but it's a tough region. There's a lot of really strong schools with historically good programs. Was what I was trying to get out of my mouth there. But yeah, on the men's side, obviously, CBU is a big one. I think you guys mentioned it in the Colas show, beating out Washington State for that auto spot. I think it's Coach Sean Smith there. He moved from Azusa Pacific a few years ago, Division II, to go to CBU. He's really brought a good mindset, good mentality. He's helping build that program into something bigger. They get a lot of international athletes from all over the world, which is pretty cool. But they're building up a program that wants to contend for national titles and be in the mix for potential spots on the podium one day, which is really cool. So that's, I guess, not a surprise in my mind, but something kind of cool that I want to bring to light. I think you guys kind of mentioned or alluded to on the Colas show as well.
Okay, amazing take, great takes. I think we should just go right into the rankings. This is going to be our final rankings before Nationals. Let's see what's going on. Let's start with the men's team ranking. We have Oklahoma State, New Mexico, and Iowa State staying right where they are. Alabama went up 2, Virginia down 1, Syracuse up 1, BYU is up 1, Oregon up 2, Wake Forest up 2, Colorado went down 5 spots, but still remains in the top 10. Okay, John, talk to me. What was the reason for all of this?
Yeah, we really did bang up Colorado a little bit. I do feel a little bit bad about that, but they'll be all right. I think, we dropped them to 10th. They didn't have James Overberg in their lineup, who has consistently been their third guy. Outside of that, we didn't see a lot of changes. It just looks like they had a bad day. If you add James Overberg back into the lineup, they still finished 4th in their region. And so the rankings, they reflect that, right? We have to move them based on that. Now, granted, looking at these rankings, this is the first ranking set that's really predicting nationals per se, right? Like, I think our other ranking sets are more of a power rankings, whereas this is a true kind of predictor of what we expect to happen at nationals. And so one of the dynamics there is we really have to value low sticks. And so when we look at the rankings, a lot of the teams in our top, 7, 8, we know they have guys who can contend for a top 20 finish. They have true low sticks. Colorado, they have Dominic Serem, and he's been great for them, and I think he will continue to be great for them. But he's a fringe top 20 guy. He's currently the number 18 guy in our ranking. So when you look down the board, they just don't necessarily have a ton of guys in the top 50. We know they have a very strong team. We know they have a very compact pack. But when you compare them to these other squads have true low sticks. Virginia, Gary Martin, Alabama, Dennis Caputo, Dismas Lokira, I'm mixing people up. Oklahoma State, we know who they have. New Mexico, we know who they have. Hapham Samuel. Iowa State, so many low sticks. So when you look at the top teams, all have really true low sticks. Colorado has Dominic Serem, but after him, it's a little bit more deeper in their pack is deeper in the field.
All right, I love that, Brian. You have any thoughts from what you saw?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Oklahoma State, not that we took a gamble, I think, placing them up number 1 a few weeks ago, like after, beating Iowa, but I think like now, like in my mind, they've proven they beat Iowa State twice now. And Iowa State we had as like the predominant favorite the entire year, but Oklahoma State looked really strong. And I think, looking at the picture, I was watching the race and like Brian Musau had dropped pretty far back. Like, he's the Big 12 champion 2-time, and I think I want to say he was also the region champion last year. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you know John, but so him dropping back to being their 5th man was big, and then they still were able to pick it up and take the win. So I think that in my mind like proves why Oklahoma State is still our number 1 favorite. Alabama sliding up a little bit. I'm high on that. It's like I said, my buddy Nick is the coach there. Virginia, obviously, I think you guys talked about it on the Colas show. Slid a little bit at the region meet, but still a really strong program. Yeah, I mean, overall, like no big surprises for me. I think John and David have done a phenomenal job throughout the year putting together the rankings.
Oh, absolutely.
I like giving you a little bit of crap for it every now and then, John, but I think this set looks pretty strong moving forward. But I think the fun part is, and maybe I'm getting off tangent here, but I think last year we had like rankings, and like I don't know if it was conditions or what, but especially on the women's side, like things just they went all over the place, and it was chaos. If you remember that, like West Virginia, like Iowa State, we didn't have like at number 2, and they ended up taking 2nd last year on the men's side. It was it was just chaos. So it's like the fun thing is like we make these, we think we can put all this thought and time and energy, and then it's like again the day is the day. But I think right now this is a solid set right here of top 10, and I do think it is interesting when you look at that mountain region, like how kind of things panned out, and Colorado finishing behind both BYU and NAZ. Colorado maybe again they just were thinking points wise, like where can we fit in, because they were the Gaines Creek, they got points. They also went to I think they went to Nuttycombe, also trying to figure out when they finished 2nd behind New Mexico there. So and beat Northern Arizona. So it's like points wise they were probably like, okay, we're okay to maybe slide in or slide back a little and take a bit of a pack up mentality, I guess.
I will say, you know, out of that mountain region it's a really, really strong region. And that's why you see 4 teams from the mountain region in our top 11. BYU is the biggest wild card. They are the absolute biggest wild. They could show up at nationals and win. I know they're ranked 7th, but they are our wild card. And we saw it last year. And right now, I know you looked at the weather forecast a little bit, Brian, but not optimal conditions, like not perfect conditions. It's going to be a little wet. It's going to be a little chillier than we'd expect. I don't know. Maybe it's just kind of all right temperature-wise, but it's going to be wet. And so that's how BYU capitalized last year. I mean, they capitalized in the cold and the wet, right?
Yeah, but you know what helped them capitalize? It was that olive oil. I think if Coach Ida Stone brings back the olive oil, I'm calling BYU men all the way to the top.
But isn't that just for like super frigid conditions?
I mean, it is. Yeah, it was like they kept it. It keeps the heat in.
Now it's tradition. Now
I feel like if it's even like remotely chilly, you gotta throw that on. It's like. In the wet, though, I guess you'd kind of be like slippery. It'd be like a raincoat, a little bit like a...
Maybe help, I don't know.
Slide through the rain
there's a method to their madness. Obviously, they have such this history of success. I got to say, John, my favorite part of this rankings is Syracuse going up a spot after, this is their 17th NCAA Nationals appearance in a row, third longest active streak in the nation. So shout out to the Orange. I'm so happy to hear that. But with all that being said, let's get some more context to these rankings and pull up the D1 men's individual rankings. Alrighty. Hoptum Samuel, Solomon Kipchoge, Dennis Kipingetich, Rocky Hansen, Brian Masao, Kelvin Chariot, Robin Kamoy-Berra, Bernard Chariot, Joash Ruto, Evans Curie. How are we feeling about this, John? Talk me through this, please.
Yeah, I mean, Solomon Kipchoge has been our mover all year. It's been just quietly sliding up our rankings. We started the season with him low, and we did that on purpose based on where he finished, his lack of a finish last year at Nationals, and then kind of a dismal indoor and outdoor season. So he started the season relatively low, has been sliding up, and is now up to 2nd. He got beat by Hoptum at Nuttycombe, so we can't forget that. But Hoptum will go in as our favorite currently as the rankings stand. Now, Rocky Hansen, I mean, we talked about it a few shows ago, how he could just be the wild card and just the random guy who wins nationals. And I still feel that way. He has been on a tear, unbeatable, like literally hasn't lost a race all season except for like a dual meet on August 29th when his team was obviously pack running. He lost to a teammate and they all ran like 26:50 over like 8K. They were obviously not racing. And so I would consider him undefeated on the year, has just looked really, really, really strong, like fast, keen, sharp, like everything is going his way. Brian Musao moves down a few spots based on that finish at Midwest region. Now, I'm not panicking about him. You know, I saw some clips of him after the race. He was celebrating with his team. He was in good spirits. I almost wonder if his coach just asked him to shut it down halfway through. They knew they were going to get an auto bid based on Oklahoma State and Iowa State kind of being a shoe in there as long as they finish 1-2. So I almost wonder if his coach just told him to shut it down. We had a good first half of the race, just finished 15th and we're fine. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case, but that's how I perceived it. Kelvin Chariot, another not quick mover, but, you know, has been steadily climbing up. I know Brian has been really high on him. Had that win at pre-nationals, then won SEC, now has won the South region. And so the real tell of the tape is really in our middle of our top 10, right? Like, I think anyone in our top 6 can win nationals, in my opinion.
I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, looking at that, I'm glad you called out Kelvin. I just think, like, you're talking about phenomenal risers. I'm just putting about, like, where you had him at the beginning of the year. I'm, like, looking back through the ranking sets. And I think to start the year, he was unranked, I believe. Like, you didn't have him unranked, and then I think he climbed to, like, 46th, I want to say. Where did I see that? And then he went to slowly, like, a little higher. Yeah, 46th. Then he was, nope, that's 6th. Anyways, it was a slow progression up the rankings to where he is now in a well-deserved 6th place. I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to, I don't know. I think you could even argue I could see him a little higher than that. But, I mean, those guys, again, like you said, any 6 of those guys are really super solid guys. And then Brian Musao, obviously, It's interesting you said, like, maybe his coach had to shut it down. We always talk about, like, they're maybe not racing to do this, do that. It's, like, crazy because, like, my mindset is always, like, let's go out there and win. But there's just so much more to it than that sometimes. Like, you really have to factor in, like, how can we put the best team on the line, again, at nationals? Like, especially when you're a team like Oklahoma State and Iowa State who, let's be completely honest, like, that region, the Midwest region is just not one of the stronger regions. They obviously are going to get the two teams out pretty comfortably. I mean, 38 and 41 points. Respectively from Oklahoma State and Iowa State, so nobody else is even close. So it makes sense that they might say to Bryan, like, hey, shut things down. Like, but, it would be weird that they wouldn't say that to Dennis too, but I guess you kind of got to need that if you still want the win. Anyways, I got a little off track. I always get just a little off track, but yeah, I think Kelvin is a huge mover there, John. I don't know if you had something else to add on that, but that was, just kind of crazy to see his rise.
Yeah, I mean, started the season unranked because we didn't know he existed, right? Like, Florida freshman hails from Samutai. I'm gonna butcher this. Samutai, Kenya. I believe that's how you say it. We didn't know he existed coming into the season, and he has just been one of those international guys who he's one of the top talents, right? Like, there's no debating that. I also want to just call out, we did drop Gary Martin from our top 10. Had a 5th place finish at Southeast. He was second at ACC behind Rocky Hansen. Now, part of me wants to believe that he is, he knows where he's at, right? I think Gary is being calculated here. He didn't feel like he needed to go all out of his region, especially based on where Virginia is at in terms of, like, team ranked wins. Like, they came in to nationals with, I believe, checking the math here, but I believe they had 13 wins versus teams that finished top 2 at the region. And that's not a perfect science. Like, you don't know exactly who's going to finish top 2.
Yeah.
But they were our first team in based on at-large bids. So they knew they had a ton of ranked wins. They knew they could take it a little bit easier. Again, I think that may have factored in Gary Martin not pursuing that win at Southeast. I would have expected him to be a little bit closer to Rocky if he is going all out. Again, I think this is all speculation. I don't know exactly what Rocky Hansen's thinking. I don't know exactly what Gary Martin's thinking. That's just kind of the feeling I get.
Okay. A lot of storylines to chase here. Feels like a lot of people are playing chess, not checkers. But with all that being said, I think let's go on to the D1 women's team rankings and see what moved and what shook. All right. Okay, so NC State, Oregon, BYU, Florida, and Notre Dame all stay at the same spot and with where they were at. The movement's happening in the bottom 5 here, with Iowa State going up 1, West Virginia going up 1, Oklahoma State going up 2, New Mexico going up 2, cracking that top 10, and Stanford going up 7. John, talk to me. And also, before you even do it, you were on the last ranking show. But there was a lot of, is beef the word I want to use? But about BYU just not being number 1.
There's a lot of beef in the comments section about us not knowing why you did it, which is rightfully a little fair, but also, we're trying to interpret these and it happens. So I guess, like, now's your chance to kind of defend that move for sure, because
you're back from vacation.
I think there's a lot of people who question that. I mean, I think I see it, I understand it, but also people, the one comment that stood out to me was like, NC State I can see. Oregon, now that's just being downright rude to BYU or something like that. Or like, what's going on?
Put them in the hot seat.
Yeah, I mean, the logic lays in the individual rankings, right? Like, when you do the math, and I don't have the math right in front of me, but Oregon has 5 women ranked inside the top 43. BYU does not, right? And so when you do the math, it's just upright based on a scoring perspective. And based on what we're predicting from the individual side, Oregon would beat BYU at nationals. We don't know what's going to actually happen, but I think Oregon, they got a few stars back, right? And their full lineup is at full power now. They obviously have Diana Cheretich, they have Julia Cherabet, they have Solana Ayadiz. Like, these are Solana's, an Olympian, right? Like, they have star power. They have Mia Barnett, they have Delia Frias, someone we didn't know they had. Kind of entering the season, we didn't know that she would be this good, right? And so they have a lot of star power. When you compare that to BYU star power, they have Jane. They obviously have Riley Chamberlain. But behind that, it's a little bit less star power and more depth. Now, that has historically worked extremely well for BYU, and it could work extremely well again this year. But we're just not seeing the all-American star power that Oregon has been showing in the last 2 weeks of the season now, or last 3 or 4 weeks of the season. Now, Oregon has made it really hard on us, right? Because they opened their season so late, right? And they're taking a very strategic approach there. I have a feeling if we saw them open earlier in the year, people wouldn't be doubting this. They would be agreeing with it.
Okay, very fair. And I mean, I think also in your defense, they were just coming off a conference and they had like, what, 5 or 6 inside the top 10?
Yeah, and I mean the Big Ten, it's a strong conference. Like that is not a weak conference, especially on the women's side.
Yeah, Northwestern.
You have
Penn State.
multiple ranked teams in that, and I don't want to say dominate it, but they dominate it. I mean, they had what, 17 points?
Yeah.
Is it 17 points? Like you win a conference that tough, and that conference has standouts on the individual side. They have Florence Caron. They have a number of other women who are really, really strong on the individual side, and they dominate it.
Very fair. Bryan, you have anything to add to that? I think that answered our question.
18 points from Oregon. Yeah, and they beat out teams like Penn State, Northwestern, Washington, Michigan State, Wisconsin, historically pretty decent squads there. So big. So fair. I mean, I understand when you start to dig into the math, like I said, I think we can kind of see it. And I think definitely the NC State thing, like we're seeing, I think where people get hung up a little bit is like one thing we'll talk about more with the individuals is like when you see a woman like Jane Hendegren, like dominating, like, oh, BYU, like, and BYU is really good. Like, honestly, it's going to come down to the day, I think, again, where it's like any 3 of these teams can really have a strong performance. Yeah, I think, Florida, obviously, sticking in there. Notre Dame looking strong. One team that I think you had, where is it, Northwestern?
I think you're referring to Stanford?
No, maybe not. Yeah, maybe I am referring to
Right, I'm glad you brought up Stanford. They did jump 7 spots and crack the top 10. Anything probably have to do with their regional performance?
Welcome back, Amy Bunnage. I think that's a major factor for them. Going into the season, I think we had her ranked inside our top 5. I'd have to scroll back and look, but
let me look.
Someone we had really highly esteemed, and she's running the same exact plan that she ran last year. Opened the season at regionals last year. Before finishing 4th at nationals. She finishes 4th at regionals this year. Who knows what she'll finish at nationals? It could easily be 4th place again. She is extremely talented, and she really boosts the profile of Stanford. That's a really important low stick for them. We saw them win the West. Granted, I think Oregon was taking a little bit easier of a day. I have the notes here, but Oregon didn't run Juliet Cherabet or Dalia Frias, 2 of their top 4. And so I think that's why we see the win over Oregon there. But Stanford really did show that they are still a solid team, and I think 10th feels pretty good compared to where we had them earlier in the year.
All right.
Yeah, you had Amy ranked 6th starting off the year. So, I mean, that's huge when you get somebody back like that. And, like, she's proven to really help them out a lot. I mean, and just obviously do phenomenal things. Last year we were talking about it. She finished 4th overall after winning the region when she came back in the region meet. So she's no stranger to like taking that time off and then coming back and doing big things. So, and she helped them to a 6th place finish last year. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's add some more context to this all and check out the D1 women's individual rankings. Okay. Doris Lemon-Gole, James Hedengren, Grace Hartman, Pamela Kosgei, Rosemary Longisa, Angelina Napoleon, Joy Nakut, Mary Bonner Dalton, Diana Cheritich, and Amy Bunnage, the one we were just speaking about. All right, John, give it to me.
Not a ton of movement inside of our top 10 outside of Sylvia Jalego. Dropped a little bit based on her 4th place finish at Southeast. So she dropped from 7th to 12th now. Hannah Gabes jumps up from 12th to 11th there. So a little bit of a flip-flopping just outside the top 10. We mentioned Amy Bunnage. I don't think I need to go into a ton of detail there, but slotted her in. I maybe a little overzealous here, right? I think she could definitely finish as well as she did last year, but a little bit of an ambitious rank, but it just felt right. And so we went with it. Actually put her ahead of Salon Ayadiz, which, Salon finished better than her at the West Regional, but I think kind of the concept there is that now that Amy has another race under her belt, she should feel even better. And again, we don't know what Amy's training has looked like over the last 3 months. We don't know what kind of shape she's in. She could prove us very right or prove us very wrong. We will find out. But another big mover was Joy Nakut. Should probably figure out how that's pronounced.
West Virginia,
But she won the Mid-Atlantic region, and so she moved up to 7th, just ahead of a couple of girls, women, who finished second in their respective region.
Okay, I like it a lot. So, when we spoke about the men, and you guys were mentioning that top 6 that can go to anybody. Obviously, it's a little different now because you have the reigning national champion Doris, you have this superstar freshman in Jane, you have people who are finally healthy, in shape, running, such as Amy. Obviously, you have Pamela, who's been doing amazing. I don't want to get too in the weeds of predictions because we will have our live show on the ground in Columbia. But what do you think can happen on the women's side in terms of who can become that new 2025 national champion?
Oh, man. I don't.
So that stressed you out, Bryan.
Yeah, I hate making predictions. Not that we're making predictions here. We're just talking oversight. But I looked at the region meets and the mountain regional. Obviously, Jane beating Pamela Kosgei, who finished second last year overall at nationals, 1906 to 1948. 40-second or so gap on the defending runner-up finisher. Yeah, that's impressive. We all know when we saw Jane, back a couple months ago, take the lead at pre-nats and win decisively, and then crush it at Big 12s. Just that she was in it to win it, kind of thing. And I think, it just comes on the day. It's like, can we see a true freshman win cross country nationals? I think it'd be phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I do think, having said that, Doris is gonna come fighting. She also won her region. She won her conference. Strong runner, wants to defend that title, I'm sure. So it's going to be a battle.
It's going to be a
dogfight. Super excited to watch that battle.
It is going to be.
So I'm a little bit less. I don't know. I think we're not giving Pamela Kosgei kind of the expertise I think she deserves. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, but I think she was running a little bit smarter than we're giving her credit for. I think she knows what these NCAA championship races take. I think she didn't want to run her legs off. I think she was pretty happy taking second to Jane and just letting her go. I think second was more than enough for her.
Me and you in a foot race. I know we're both going to go to nationals. I still want to beat you.
You might want to beat, and I think that's
champion.
what happened with Jane. But I don't think Pamela cares if she loses at regionals. If
You're
she
saying
wins
she's going to hold out and want to win at nationals. It makes sense. But
if I can run 40 seconds slower, sure.
I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. I think that's a little I get that we keep saying you want to save it for nationals, but at times I don't know. I think Jane just put a dominant performance on, and maybe Pamela didn't have it to hang with her. I don't know, maybe we're saying the same thing in different ways.
On paper, it does look like a dominant performance. I don't think it was. I think Kosgei was holding back a little bit. I think for BYU's sake, for Coach Taylor's sake, I think she didn't want Jane to lose confidence. And she's like, you know what? Let's let this star freshman just keep running the way she's been running. But I just wonder if that's going to come back and bite her, because Doris did not need to run all out to win her region. She finished 1, 2, 3 with her teammates, right? Pamela did not run all out to win her region. I mean, Grace Hartman didn't even race. So the top 3 of the top 4, in my opinion, did not go as hard as they could. I don't think Jane went as hard as she could either, but she went harder than these other 3.
Fair.
Hey, I like it. I'm going to stop you guys right there, though.
You're swaying me a little bit, but I don't.
I'm going to stop y'all right there. We will have more to talk about the end of this week. Hold on to those things. But for now, let's go on to the Mud and Mile Spotlight. It is going to Jesse Hamlin of Butler. I mean, what's there not to like about this guy? He's 100% has carved out it's been a breakout season for him. Steadily climbing leaderboard all year. He kicked off at Gants Creek, where he placed 63rd, turned heads at Nuttycombe, where he placed 47th, and by the time the Big East Championships rolled around, he cracked the top 5, taking 5th, fueling that Butler team score. And at Great Lakes Regional, he ran a very gutsy 10K in 29:43.2, finishing second, and essentially kind of stamping himself as a bit of a threat. So clearly on an upward trajectory, and Butler is going to lean on him very hard this weekend. What are our thoughts on this, guys? John, I'll start with you.
Yeah, Jesse had a really strong effort there. We kind of called that out because he finished second in that region. Didn't necessarily expect him to finish that high, especially not as the top runner from Butler. When you have, I'm blanking hard. When you have William Zagarsky, excuse me, sorry, I was like just completely in outer space there. William Zagarsky, who's consistently been the top guy for Butler. Again, don't know the full story there, but Jesse Hamlin finished really well. I think he could quietly finish All-American, and I think the rankings reflect that. We currently have him ranked 41st, so just outside of that All-American status, but could easily jump into that top 40.
All right, go ahead, Bryan.
I was just going to say, not to play devil's advocate here, but what if he went all out because he knew that had to make his team win the regional? So he went all out because he knew he had to make the team regional, and now he's just pumped that he's even going to go to the national meet. Just saying. There's a side to both coins here, John, or whatever.
We will see. I mean, he hasn't shown the performances until regional. So you could be 100% be right, but still a really strong day for him, and really deserving of that award there.
Agreed. Yeah, not to take away from the award, because he definitely put it all on the line, and I think it's like impressive. So even if he did go all out, he helped his team get a national berth, a definitive ticket punched second place finish, national, qualifying team behind Notre Dame. So, and beating out a team like Wisconsin, who's again historically a very strong, very good program. So, really cool, really awesome to see from him to help his team, move on to nationals. As like John said at the beginning of the show, it's like what everybody dreams to make at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and 100% they're very well deserved, and I'm glad that we were able to recognize him. So really excited to see what he does this weekend. Now let's go on to one of my favorite segments, Stashies at Nashies, and this week's Stash of the Week is Brock Wooderson. Can we just take a quick little look at that? Look at that. Look at the handlebar. That's a stash right there. And I think you guys are finally getting to that level. I'm so proud of you both, John and Bryan. I'm so proud. What are we thinking about Brock's? He has like the handlebar action going on too, guys. Bryan, let me start with you because I'm very impressed with yours. I'm impressed with yours too, John, but yeah.
You kept doubting me.
I did keep doubting you.
Shows you were doubting me. Like, I think after Chicago Marathon, you're like, there's no way. That's not going to work. And
no, I was doubting hard.
It's coming in now. Normally I'm a little patchy here on the sides, but right now it's like, yeah.
I like it. Very connected and everything.
Thank you. Yeah.
You need to shave.
A little too close there. Oh, don't worry. I'm going to shave on Thursday night. It's going to come in.
Yeah, me too.
I guess I'm going to do a fan poll vote. First of all, that stash is great, by the way.
Yes.
Grand Valley State, great stash right there. Love it. He's probably I'm hoping that he's going to shave down to just the stash and really curl it up for nationals. That'd be awesome. But I think I'm going to put a fan poll out there on the FloTrack Instagram of what should I shave my facial hair? Should I do? I was thinking kind of the
I think
Fu
you should look
Manchu,
identical to this.
or maybe something like John. See, I don't have that quite. It's not quite that long where I can like really spin it up. Like it's
2025.
Like,
anything is possible.
Yeah, I guess I could.
I got you. Anything's
what are you
possible.
saying? That the gel you got? Something like that?
Yeah, I have edge control.
I don't know what that is, but sure.
Don't worry, I got you.
Whatever works.
It will. It will.
I'll put some pictures. We'll see. I'll look up some good mustaches.
Don't worry, guys. I'll have the before and the after pics. I'm gonna get a really good edge control from Beauty Supply Store, and I'll hook you up. I got you.
There we go.
John, what are your predictions on how your stash will be? I know, like at this point, it's like what we see is what we get. I know you're gonna clean up around there, but I have high hopes for you because I was doubting you the same way I was doubting Bryan, and I am very impressed.
It looks better in person. I will say the camera, the MacBook Pro, and I shouldn't shout out Apple because they're not sponsoring the show, but the camera doesn't do it justice. I swear, it looks more full in person. It looks a little patchy on camera. It is what it is. You guys will see it in person, and you'll either be really impressed or really disappointed. And I'm exaggerating here because I can't get a good twirl. But we got something.
We'll get that edge control.
I told you. I got you.
Yeah.
Helps with the edges of the stash.
The hay is completely in the barn, though. Like, this is as good as we get, and I cannot wait to shave this off. Because it's starting to get, like, a little itchy, and it's, like, a little tickly.
Mine's
every time I eat, I'm like...
Everything gets caught in there, dude. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
I don't get how people have those big beards, because I'd be, like, finding, like, little crumbs in there and, like, munching them out somehow. Like...
Yeah.
I just have so much. It's gross.
I don't know,
feel like
guys.
I had yogurt this morning. It was all stuck up in there.
I need
Anyways.
y'all to tighten up. That's what I'm hearing. I need you guys to tighten up. We need these Stashies and Nashies stashing this weekend. So.
Oh, they will be.
All right, y'all, tighten up. Okay. So you guys know the drill. Make sure you stop us, tag us, show us your stash, and you use the hashtag Stashies at Nashies. And we will eventually, this is the weekend, we will be awarding Stash of the Year. So this is going to be very, very excited. And before we close out the show, guys, I've been saying it all show that we're going to have a live show down in Columbia, Missouri. We will be on the ground. It will be me, Brian, John, Chrissy, the one and only Ryan Fenton, and we'll have also special guests joining us for College XC Race Day live presented by HOKA. Look at that graphic. Isn't she pretty? Isn't she pretty? We're going to have giveaways, happy hours, all of the good stuff, and you're just going to want to be there. It's going to be an experience. And yeah, it's going to be so fun. Like, I hope to see everyone there. Did I say free food already? I don't think I did.
I don't think you did. That's a
free
big
food.
part.
Free food.
Free food.
And it's not
I didn't know
like
there was going to be free food.
Oh,
yeah. Who doesn't like free
exciting.
food?
And I was there, like I said, at Gaines Creek. The food looks good. Like, it looks very good. I mean, like, this place is cool as heck. They got tons of pickleball courts. They got, like, a big open green space. They have a room that we're going to be, like, renting out and using. They got some foosball. We're going to set up a stage, do the live show both Friday and Saturday.
Yep.
It's going to be epic. Like, the shakeout run's going to be fun. HOKA's got some awesome gear. We have some awesome gear to give away. So, you know, Oregon, Butler, any fans that are going to be heading down, you know, I just named those two teams at the top of my head right now. BYU, NAU, Wisconsin, if they're going to be there. Anybody from there. Anybody who's going to nationals, fans, students, like, get down there. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. I think that's why I'm so pumped. Like,
it's going to be fun.
I'm ready to do a live show. I want some booze.
Yes.
I want some people, like, heckling us a little bit. Like,
no, it's going to be nice. I want to see, like, people commenting in real life, too.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, do it during the live preview show. Do it during the live prediction show. We're going to have free merch we're giving away, too, in addition to the free food. First 100 people there will be receiving those really cool swaggy sweatshirts you saw us in earlier this week. But we hope to see you there. That's it for this edition. So let's sign off. John Davern, Bryan Deibel, Nia Gibson, and we will see you guys the end of this week live in Columbia, Missouri.